All right. Hello, everybody. I'm glad that you're back listening. I had told you this was coming. It has been a long time coming, actually. I've been trying to get this individual to come sit here. I don't know what he's laughing for. This is going to be a joke. I can tell you this interview is going to be something. But I can promise you, you're going to get something out of it. This is MBIWAN MONJIMBO coming to you on Vosaworld Radio. It is the Musings and Music Show, and there's going to be a lot of music, I can tell you that. I have this gentleman sitting in front of me. Those of you who are listening cannot quite tell who it is just yet. If you're watching, you can, because you can already see his face. And you may recognize him from the 1-year anniversary show that we did a couple of weeks ago now. But I'm going to ask him to go ahead and introduce. That time the script was flipped. He was doing the interview and I was responding. Now I get to sit in the interrogator's chair. Well, we're talking KGB, CIA here. There may be some waterboarding involved. But on a serious note, he's sitting here in front of me and I'd like him to go ahead and introduce himself. So who are you? Who are our guests listening to or watching?
Thank you very much, EGBE. I'm happy this can happen because in the most recent times, nobody can swear about whatsoever.
Right.
One moment you are here, the next moment or you are on WhatsApp, you're on the air, that guy is gone. Oh yes, he's gone. These are the uncertain times we are going through. So you want to make sure that you do what you have to do because the next call may just be yours. I'm happy that we talked about this before and that we can do this for whosoever is listening, for whoever it may help. Let's do it.
Right.
So Aatsa Atogho is my name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already short. My father gave me a short name. You have to ask him. All my friends had 3. EGBE MBIWAN Etonde, Fondufe Clement Nze, Asia World as Abie, Anyangwe Eric Yande, Kilo Charles Bayua. No, let me stop there. But mine was just Aatsa Atogho. And I forced Victor into it to conform. Who doesn't want to conform?
True.
Who doesn't want to hang out with the Joneses? So my name was just too short. And I went to school one day. I came back and I said my name was Victor. But unfortunately, you know, we're in this system where I get to university after CPC Bali and CAST. And then they asked me, Aatsa Atogho is the same person as Aatsa Atogho Victor or Victor Atogho Aatsa.
Certificate d'individualité, that document, I know it. Because I've had sometimes when the people didn't remember which one of my names, and then what was on my GCE O-level certificate was different from what was on my A-level certificate. When I got to Guayaquil, it was something else. So you have to do this thing called un certificate d'individualité this long with as many fiscal stamps on it as you can imagine.
I went through that. That torture. And the guy at the Scolarité, remember, just said, Mon ami, votre acte de naissance porte Aatsa Atogho. C'est Aatsa Atogho. Vous avez compris? That's where Victor died. So sometimes people came to my office in the assembly and asked, we're looking for Atogho Victor. Atogho Victor?
Right.
We know Aatsa Atogho. There's no Victor Atogho. Say, yeah, I think it's the same one. So is your name Victor? Yeah. Apologetically, I say yes. My name was Victor. Yeah. Anyway, Aatsa Atogho is my name.
And so what do you do for a living, if I may ask?
I am a conference interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a natural interpreter and I'm a trained translator. I say this because I studied translation in school.
Right.
And one day my boss got me into the booth and made me an interpreter. So my friends, translators, they're looking at me, but you were supposed to be with us. And then the interpreters are like, Aatsa, but when did you join us?
Right.
So, but I enjoy my life doing what I do as an interpreter. I talk, they give my small money, I go me away. I talk again, they give my small money, I go, and life goes on.
All right, so maybe the question I should ask is, where are you doing all this talking and getting this money from, like right this minute? Where are you right now?
Yes, I think the last time we were talking, I was in Abidjan.
Right.
And then, but I did the interview from Addis Ababa. Okay. But presently, as I speak, I'm in Arusha. Tanzania.
Okay, so that would be 3 countries in about a couple of weeks, less than 2 weeks.
In 1 week, in fact.
In 1 week,
On
yes,
Sunday,
it's barely, yes. Because you stayed on
last
after
Sunday.
the interview, yeah? You stayed on there a little longer.
Last Sunday, I was in Abidjan. On Wednesday, I got to Addis Ababa, and on Friday, I got to Arusha.
Right.
And then on Sunday, I'll be in Nairobi, and the other Sunday, I'll be in Mogadishu.
There you go.
Well,
I hope everybody who's listening now, who had watched somebody, I think it was Judith Fang that interviewed me, and I think Mabel as well, that asked me how I got into what I do now, whereas I trained as a translator kind of person, and I started doing a little bit of interpreting too. Now you just heard him give you exactly the reason why I didn't stick with that job. If you're going to raise a family with young children, you cannot be in Arusha and then in Mogadishu and then in Bouaké and then in I don't know where within the space of 1 week. 1 week doing Acheke, one place, doing Aloko, some other place, and doing whatever it is, Milex, and I don't know what. That doesn't, you don't really. So let me just ask you it's not really your place to answer because I don't know, you are not exactly that, but I know that there are women interpreters and translators. How do they handle it? Because that's the reason why I left. That's the reason why I quit. We have been classmates from forever. But the latest part of our being classmates was at AST in Buea, doing the translation interpreting thing. And I did have to call it quits when I saw the demands. So I know you're not a woman, but you have women, female colleagues. What do you hear them say about handling this job?
You see, John Wesley said some time ago that the world is my parish. That was in 1739. You know about the reforms, you know about how England was saved from the revolution and all of that, because the reforms came with the pastors Whitefield and all of that. For him, he said, the world is my parish. I owe it to every man to deliver the gospel. When I was leaving ICTR, because I worked for ICTR as a conference interpreter, in fact, court interpreter, because that's where we were prosecuting the perpetrators of the genocide that took place in 1994 in Rwanda. We all know about it. Right. It is more recurrent now because we have issues of massacres in Cameroon. So references are made to that. But I witnessed what was happening in the sense that from the booth, vicariously, a number of us were traumatized by having to interpret. Put yourself in the place of this lady who was raped by 7 men and whose 5 children were killed before her. You don't go away unscathed after having listened to that and repeated that for months. So after I left ICTR, I think I wrote to you, I told you that I was leaving.
Yes.
You remember? Yes.
I remember.
Thank you for your encouraging words, EGBE. And you and all my friends, when I told them, look, my contract has ended now, I'm not going back to the National Assembly. I would go as a freelance interpreter. And I wrote a letter to thank all the staff, and I said, the world is my office.
Right.
As a freelance, you work for everybody. And as a freelance interpreter, it's not now that everything has been paralyzed by the virus.
Right.
And we are marooned in one country. In fact, it's only this year that I'm traveling again.
Yeah, that's right.
For the past 2 years, 2019 ending and 2020. In fact, I did the last meeting in Brazzaville, WHO, on COVID. That was the last conference that we traveled to. I wore my first mask on the 26th of March. Masks were not usual at the time. Right. But then we were told that this thing is going to turn the world upside down.
And it sure did.
Yes. So my life has been traveling. It is, if you call me and tell me I need your services in Acapulco, you need my service in Tajikistan, you need my services in wherever, if my schedule allows, you send me the ticket and I take off because I just want to earn an honest living. Right. And besides earning an honest living, I was doing an interview once. I told the guy, look, if you pay me, I'll work. You don't pay me, I'll work. I enjoy my job.
That's the difference.
And And the truth is, that's where the difference lies, Egbe. The truth is, my business card, what it carries, my business card carries is since my profession became my passion, life is a celebration.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it is true.
Yep.
It's not just words. It's not somebody else. I said it, I put it there, and I live it because I witness it.
Right.
Since my profession became my passion, life is a celebration. So
correct. You enjoy what you're doing.
Yes, I get into the booth, I read my documents, I prepare. It is COVID today, tomorrow it is the ozone layer, the next day it's the rubber plantation, the next day it is governance, after that it is tire, rubber manufacture, the next day it is diabetes, and you read your documents in English and in French, you do the collation of a glossary to prepare to know that this thing in English, I'll say this, in French, I'll do that. And then you keep abreast with the news. You read a lot so that you have all the expressions, the idiomatic ones and the parables, so that you can fit, because you don't know where this guy is coming from and is quoting Chateaubriand and is quoting Wole Soyinka. You just have to deliver.
Yep. Because you see what I try to tell the students when they ask, because even now that I teach French and so I work with both French and English. It's an interesting thing for them to say when you try to teach them the difference between translation and interpretation, and telling them that when you're doing for both, it has to be that the person, your target audience, actually gets what it is that you're saying in that target language, no matter what it says originally in what the person delivered it in. It has to make sense to the person, to the point that I used to tell them, if you are interpreting, or if you translate a document, or especially with interpretation, though, which is there happening live, like right there, it's not a matter of just reading. And then the person who is depending on you for the interpretation, if half the hall is laughing, keeling over and laughing at a joke, and then they are sitting there wondering what is funny, then it is the fault of the interpreter, who has not, he may have given the general meaning of the thing, but he missed the joke, and now it has gone over the heads of a whole bunch of people depending on him to deliver in their language what it is that was said. You see, so it's quite an exciting job. I still love it, and I can imagine the thrill you get from it. When
it works, Egbe.
Right.
When you get it right, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Before I get back to our lady interpreters, because in fact, my mentor is a lady.
Right.
In fact, it's our director from ASTI,
right?
Justine Dombo-Kele.
Right.
A household name.
Madame Ago, as we called her, Madame Justine Ago.
That was her maiden name. She finally got married. She got married, and then her name is Dombo-Kele. But that is the Justine. There's just one. When you talk about Justine, they say, "Hey,
the one and only."
The one and only. Now we get to ICITR EGBE. It can be fun. I agree. But it can be torture.
Right.
In the sense that the first meeting I did with Justine Ago, who took me into the booth, because I interpreted in church. This was consecutive, okay?
Right.
Consecutive.
Right.
He speaks and I speak. He says it and I say it.
Right.
He allows
so you get a time, a little bit of a split second time to process it and redeliver.
That is consecutive interpretation.
Right.
As opposed to simultaneous interpretation, where concurrently you are running along with the guy. He doesn't know that you are there, and he doesn't
care. He doesn't know, and he doesn't care. He will not temper what he's saying to suit you so that you can give you time. He's just talking.
So it is for you now, and then the audience that is listening to you, they are just waiting to they're looking up to you. They don't want to know what he's saying. They're listening to you.
Right.
Yes.
What is coming through their headphones to their earpieces is you, not the person.
So here we are. We get to ICTR. This is the top of the profession, okay?
Right.
I've done the profession in Cameroon. I worked for National Assembly for 20 years. I even had the grace of God. I used 1 Samuel 12:16, I think, where David says, "Who am I that you have brought me this far? A shepherd boy."
Right.
You know, Egbe, I say I did all the wrong things and things were good for me. I know guys who did all the right things.
Everything right.
Went haywire.
Right.
I have friends who died just from carelessness. I was careless and reckless, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who are in prison. I have some who have gone off. I have some who are on the run. And if you wanted to check, I was more wild than most of those guys. Why I'm here, God alone knows. So anyway.
God's grace.
Okay, now you got it. You got it. God's grace. So I celebrated 20 years serving the nation. I was president of APTIC, that is the Association of Professional Translators and Interpreters of Cameroon, which is one of the strongest associations of conference interpreters and translators on the continent. Because we are now used to serve other countries. I was helping the guys in Cote d'Ivoire because I'm settled in the Abidjan with the African Development Bank. The Ivorians want to create their own association, and they're using our documents from Cameroon.
So you have the blueprint.
There you go. There you go. And that is what we have in Cameroon, and which we neglect, but we are a reference. Right. The Cameroonian interpreters, we are the best. Go to Addis Ababa, quality, quantity, the numbers, it is Cameroonians.
Yep.
English booth, you'll find Cameroonians. French booth, you'll find Cameroonians. Go to The Hague. I'm living with a colleague who went as far as Cambodia. So we exported translators and interpreters, we skipped Europe and went to Asia as far as Cambodia. That's how good as we are, okay? So we arrive at ICTR, and you're sitting there with judges, prosecutors, attorneys from all over the world. You have the perpetrators of the genocide. You have the victims sitting there. You have the families listening and trying to make sure that this prosecution goes well, that these people who killed and
their loved ones are brought to
it's a tense atmosphere.
Yes.
And a witness is saying how she was in a bar drinking, and then there was some lady who was frying beignet. Okay? Puff puff.
Puff puff.
Yes. And so she says she was frying beignet, and I used the English word. What is it? What did you call it?
Donuts. Did you say donuts?
My dear sister. So I used donuts, but the judge, the judge whose first language is Kiswahili, does not know the word donuts. So I said she was doing I'm trying to simplify now. I say flour balls. I found flour balls because they're made from flour.
Yes.
Okay, she's frying flour balls. The guy is like, you can see his face that he's not understanding.
Yes, he's not grasping. That's what they call lost in translation.
So he says, interpreter, what did the witness say? Yes, interpreter, English booth. The whole court goes quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Everybody is waiting what the English booth is going to say, because you have Kinyarwanda that is spoken here. A guy who is Rwandese takes it from Kinyarwanda and puts it into French, and I take it from French to put it into English for the Canadian attorney and for the British judge. But this Tanzanian judge is here. His English is not so good because it is not his first language.
It's not.
So he doesn't understand my donuts, which is the best I've found. I simplify to flour balls. The guy doesn't get it.
Trust me, somebody's even listening to us now who has not gotten what it is that we're talking about up till now. Because we said puff puff. What does puff puff? The people who listen to this show in Asia, you said donuts. Okay. They are looking at something else. That donuts are not fried. They are baked. You see, so the thing, so somebody is sitting there now who has no clue what it is we're talking about. Except just
I could get. This is a live trial on which somebody may be acquitted for having killed, slaughtered, and massacred, or the person may get a life sentence. So it is very delicate.
Right.
It is so sensitive.
Imagine people don't understand about this profession. It's a very delicate one because they just sit and say, I mean, come on, they're just talking. Can you imagine when they see all this? They say the G7 are meeting. Biden or Obama has gone over there. They're talking. The other people are there who speak French, German, and the rest of it. How do you think they actually sit and talk and make huge treaties on which the world revolves? It is the job of the translators and interpreters there that are doing all of that. You could start a third world war like that.
You are thinking on your feet.
Yes.
In fact, I said it once, and Seron, our friend, likes to mock at me. He teases me and says, hey, this guy, if you make a mistake in translation, you can cause a third world war. Because I said so in one interview in Cameroon. But which is the truth? What was the source? What sparked off the First World War? It was a translation error. Oh yes, instructions were given and there was a mistranslation and things went haywire. Anyway, I'm there sweating and thinking, how do I communicate? Because the whole court has stopped and they're listening to the English booth. I have my 30-minute slot where I have to deliver and I take a breath, I take a breather. And then the next interpreter, because we work in pairs, like pilots, you take one after. You cannot focus.
There's no brain. Yes, there's no brain that can take that amount of yes.
And you cannot do it accurately. So I do 30 minutes, he does 30 minutes, I do 30 minutes, and he does 30 minutes. So I am doing 30 minutes now, I'm stuck. Fortunately, a colleague, may God bless her soul, her name is MBIWAN, another Cameroonian, who worked with us at the National Assembly. She had come to Tanzania earlier than I, along with Justine Dongo-Kele, Oscar Tanifum, Atanga Livinus, Bembatum Francois, name them.
Oh, yes.
He hit the booth and just said, Aatsa, say mandazi, mandazi. Mandazi is a Swahili word to describe puff-puff and beignet. I've never seen or heard the word before. I just said, she was preparing mandazi, and the judge says, yes, witness, go on. My temperature went down.
Swish.
I've never had high blood pressure.
Oh, no, see, that's the job. You know, I did some interpreting too there, but for people don't even know the difference. I was trying to say, no, I'm a translator. They're like, yeah, so that's the thing. Who don't know the difference between a translator and an interpreter? So I was trying to say, no, I don't do that. I translate. They're like, yes, that's what I'm asking you to go and do. I'm like, no, we don't work. No, we wouldn't be doing a conference in the booth. Oh, so I sat in that booth. I tell you, you do need, I don't know, a carton full of deodorant. That's how much sweating you will do in that in that booth, air conditioning or not. It is a very tense thing to do. I know it because I've done it.
Madame Dongo-Kele, Justine, my mentor, was telling us today at lunch. I was telling her, if I go back to teach at interpretation school, what I'll teach is public relations. How do you build your client base? How do you keep your clients? And what do you do after a meeting with your clients? What I do, I created a firm in Cameroon in 1996. Now, imagine we come out from school, EGBE. Salaries are around 400,000 to 500,000. And then there's the first salary cut. They drop to 300,000. You trivialize that, okay? You think that that is not bad enough. You slash it again. They drop to 90, 190, 200. People have taken loans and have bought houses at Kansik Mendong, Kansik here, you are building here. And all of a sudden, you cannot pay rent, send your kids to school, take care of your wife. So we now had to fend for ourselves and do other things on the sidelines. Those who were the senior ones, they left for the freelance market where they had already contacts, WHO, ILO, AU, ADB, and they left. We were younger, we had just come from school, and we couldn't just leave. So I created Competence.
I remember.
Translators and interpreters as a firm, to be able to work for organizations that will need our services. Because Professor Mbanya, he told me, Aatsa, you're a good translator interpreter. Why must you stay within the public service? This is a profession that should serve like the noble professions, law or medicine, where you open private practice. But this is not common in Cameroon. And that's what I want to tell the young people. Think out of the box. Don't just sit there and say, because it has been done like this way. Like this. You know the response people give you, on ne fait pas ça comme ça. There's not to trouver ça comme ça ici. Make it the perfect way of doing it. Can we try something else? So I can sit back today, EGBE. If I walk out of this profession, I'll tell myself, okay, in Cameroon, I did well to move it from the public service to the private sector, and it is flourishing. Okay? The truth is, necessity, the mother of invention, pushed me to say, I'll do this. And I started just by using a secretariat bureautique, because I didn't have an office. My office was at the National Assembly. So I went down to Avenue Kennedy. I saw this sister that I knew in church who had a secretariat. I said, look, why don't you give me, instead of 300 francs for a page, when I translate, I'll print my page at 200 and I'll print my pages only here. So let's do in sort of the fidelisation. Okay? Let us do a retainership. In the sense that I work only with you and you work with me, and then I get better rates. And by the way, can I use your post office box so that I can put it on my business card?
Right.
And I did it. And I should have a card here. Oh, yeah. I always go around with my cards because I don't know who am I going to.
You find the opportunity on an airplane, in a cab somewhere, and you're like, here you go.
Anyway, it's a serious matter.
You have to be ready.
That's my card. And that's where I have it. When your passion becomes your profession, life
becomes a celebration.
So I had to use her PO box as my own PO box. So that when my letters come or anything, at the time when we had letters, now email has come, nobody's writing letters anymore or cards.
Right.
But at that point, you needed that. You needed an address. So I created the firm, and it is where it is.
Right.
So that is what it means in the profession. But on that day, at that tribunal, it was a tough time having to handle that situation. So you have a profession where now you need to teach people. You are thinking on your feet. You need to be up to date in current affairs. You need to make sure that your client is happy and satisfied with the work you do.
Right.
Okay, I think they pay us well per day. Okay. Right. The least you can do is make sure that this guy gets a good run for his money. If he pays you some good money, let him go home satisfied that the communication was there. The participants are all happy because they followed the meeting. And
besides the money being the incentive, the fact that you're going to get paid well, word of mouth, almost in any profession, except for the ones which are still doing the government thing, where if you're the person who is the director you're the doctor in the hospital, whether general or hospital central, I have no choice. I have to go to you. Even if I die on your operating table, my sister will still come and go to you because they don't have a choice. But in a competitive market like this one, you to do well, because if you don't do well, the word will pretty soon go around and say, that guy, do not even just get him. Oh, the people complained. And then the reverse is true. If you do well, they're like, get this person, get this person, get this person. So that's one thing where you build a reputation. You don't only want to sit down there and say you're doing a good job because they'll pay me this one time. If you want to be getting more and more good paychecks coming down the road, then it's in your interest to do a good job so that people actually recommend you. Your work will speak for itself.
You see, and the testimonies are legion. There are so many about work being well done. Also because the stress can make you just get blocked in your mind. Everybody's listening to you and you cannot deliver. And you embarrass yourself. People have walked out of the booth forever. They've not gone back into the booth. Careers have been stalled in full flight. Right. In a conference, you just can't do it. And everybody's like, they say, no, replace that guy. Well, I've gone for meetings. I've taken people on meetings to Brazzaville or Libreville or Jamena. And the organizer comes and says, celui-là, franchement, je ne sais pas. Il a aussi fait l'école de Boya. Il est aussi professionnel. Franchement, les participants se plaignent. Hein? Les participants se plaignent. And then you'll be blacklisted like that. So, EGBE, I end your contract there and then I pay you and I send you back home. Right. You know, you're a classmate or you're a colleague, but some people are more fluent than others. Others are more eloquent than others. Some people are cut out for the job, others aren't. Some people have a knack for languages, others don't have. So maybe I should come back to the whole issue of how did I even start this profession? Right. Okay. But I'm saying we created this because we had salary cuts and then devaluation came. Right. You know the story, your mother taught us the Bible, primary school, Sunday school, I meet her on Sunday. Monday, I meet her again at the primary school by the lake. So I was done. I was finished. There was no way. What do? You remember the story of the prodigal son? Right. It is when this guy's money is finished, his resources are exhausted, he's in a life of, all right, that is when famine hits that town. Okay? Why did famine not come when this guy had money? So that this guy was plummeting, going further down. Until he had to now quarrel with pigs to share. You see? So after we've had 2 salary cuts, that is when devaluation.
Devaluation too came in.
This is a third salary cut. All right. So we had to do something to earn our living, and that's how we started doing freelance, working for others, build clients, talk to them, do cards, do a brochure. And in fact, the brochure that I did for Competence, the Ministry of Tourism wanted to use it because I sold Cameroon as the destination for conferences. You have the infrastructure. You could land in Douala and go down to Limbe and do your conference, or you could go to Kribi, or you could land in Yaoundé and do your conference in Montpellier, or you can do your conference at Palais de Congrès. You don't need to fly in interpreters because you have the natural human resources there.
C plus.
You have a pre-conference visit. You want to go to Bakingili. You want to go to the Fumban's Palace. You want to go to Kribi. You want to go to Chuang. You want to see Mount Cameroon. So pre-conference or post-conference tours you would find in Cameroon. Infrastructure you have in Cameroon. Interpreters you have in Cameroon. So that's the place to go to. And EGBE, I was invited to the conference of the Togolese who were creating their own association, and they asked me to speak there because, okay, they know that I'm in Abidjan, and that I was president of APTIC, and that I'm a member of AIC, the International Association of Conference Interpreters based in Geneva, and I'm the African focal point for the private market, because you have interpreters who are working in organizations like I did at the ICTR for the UN, or like, who would you know? Eugene Tawe, staff interpreter, he's at the ICC with Martin Dichia. So you have staff interpreters, you have freelance interpreters, and I'm representing the freelance interpreters, yes. Africa and this and that. So since they know that, they invited me to speak to them, and there was a Secretary General at that meeting, and I told the Secretary General of the presidency of Togo, and told him, Secretary General, you had better take care of this profession, because this profession, there is abysmal ignorance about it, but it does not by any means mean that it is not an important profession. We pull in a lot of foreign currency into our countries, because when there's a conference in your country, people come, hospitality industry benefits, hotel management benefits, newspapers are sold, car rentals are working, the boys who sell plums and corn by the roadside,
the business flourishes.
It creates employment. The economy is running. You have less crime because people are employed. Now, if the contrary is when people are not employed, people are idle. Satan finds work for idle hands. The crime wave shoots up. Who is going to a country where the crime wave is so high? So we lose investments.
That all your tourism thing is not going to work if I'm feeling unsafe.
EGBE, we'll be celebrating on the 30th of September, we'll be celebrating the International Translators' Day, International Day of Translation. And last year, I did a number of interviews. In fact, I went on 5 TV stations. It was my personal crusade to bring a solution or a response or a contribution to what we are going through, which is, in fact, a tragic moment in the history of our lives, of our country. If we do well with our translators and interpreters, we bring investments in Cameroon, we will reduce the number of idle people. It is the idle people who are recruited to become Boko Haram or to become Amba. A rich and prosperous person would think twice before joining any cause.
True.
Okay, so whatever the case, that is what it was, and we created the
idle or hungry.
Oh yes, we are desperate. In any case, that is what made me to create the firm. And now, having been to ICTR, done it at home, done it abroad, I just sit and my name is in the database. If you're looking for an interpreter in Cameroon or Addis Ababa, or in Abidjan, which is my professional residence, you just type, you want an English interpreter, and my name comes up. And you send me an email and ask me, are you available to go to Windhoek, or you're available to go to Cape Town for 5 days? We'll pay you this, I will send you a ticket and that. And if I'm available, if I'm not booked prior to that, I accept it, and the contract is sent to me, I sign it, scan it, send it back to the guy. And then the day comes, I catch my flight, I go and do my work, and I come back home. And I can earn my living honestly.
Decently,
I thank God that I can do that. You see, that is what it takes. You see? But if you ask me how I got here, that's another story.
Wow. But we still haven't quite clearly done the part of, because I keep listening to that and still saying, how does a woman fit in this? So let me ask you even some other way. What is the proportion, male to female, of translators, interpreters, especially interpreters? What's the proportion? For every, how many men do you have? How many females?
You have more men, but the best and the most reliable are women.
Explain that phenomenon.
My mentor, Justine Ago, Dongo Keller, is a woman. One of our young colleagues, the one who went after ICITR, went to Cambodia, is a lady, is a young girl,
right?
Arlette Peacock. The lady who runs the translation interpretation department at the World Bank in Yaoundé is another young colleague who was with us at ICITR. Her name is Valerine Cham. There's a lady, what is her name again? Very, very good. She left Cameroon, came to ICITR, went to Cambodia, went to the ICC, went to Geneva, and now she's in Nairobi. I'll get her name. But these are women who are very good.
Right.
If it is your thing, you do it. If it's not your thing, you leave it. The lady, the person who is in charge of interpretation at WHO, which is one of the highest recruiters for interpretation, and now with COVID, they have meetings every week, virtually every week. She's running 13 meetings. She has to recruit interpreters, get them working. She has to make sure that they're working well because she herself is good.
Right.
She has English, Spanish. She has English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese.
Wow.
Christine has English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. These other ladies have English, French, Spanish, English, French, Portuguese. So women are very good. Some women, unfortunately, maybe they got married to men whom, if I were the one, would take them to the Sanhedrin of the men's committee and ask them, JD and Sanvapa. Because these are men who feel threatened by the prosperity of their wives.
Right.
And who feel that this woman who is going from one country to the other, meeting ministers and presidents in conferences, and they're living in hotels, in beautiful resorts, either in Zanzibar or in Mwanza or in the Seychelles or in Mauritius. You go in this convoy with the speaker or the president of the country, of the United Nations. You are too exposed, and the man loses sleep.
Right.
And now
because it's so much mayhem that that this lady is supposed to say I quit, or probably even if she says I'm not quitting, then it causes the marriage to just crumble.
C'est votre travail là ou bien c'est moi. Vous êtes une femme mariée, vous avez compris? Okay, so it can be frustrating for some, but for the men who know what it is, for the men who know, I don't know. I thank God for the men who know, like my colleague who is in Brazzaville. Her husband, sometimes he joins her and they travel. He's doing his own things. He's so busy. And he just say, hey, occupez-vous d'elle. Franchement, c'est votre sœur, non? Occupez-vous d'elle. And he's become such a friend to many interpreters, because when we are in one town, if it's your town, you invite us home.
Right.
She's from Niger. So I went to Niger and she booked me for dinner and the husband was there. We met again in Morocco for another meeting. And he knows many interpreters. I know that these are the people my wife hangs out with. They work 8 hours per day. They travel. You have to help her maybe carry her box. They have many clothes and things like that. If there's anything, there's no room in the car, the men would have to help the women. So it is in your interest, if you have any sense, to make sure that your wife's colleagues are nice to her and that you make them comfortable.
Right.
So for some it has worked, for some it hasn't.
Not so much. And of course, I'm asking that question because we know the purpose of this, why we're sitting here and chatting, is to inspire young people who are looking to get into different professions and who may not even know that this is an option that they've got, because some people don't even know that, okay, there's translation and interpretation. That is a profession, or some don't understand it, and some will be say the female population saying, is that for me? Because I just made the statement and said, for me, I was like, I don't think I would be able to do this because of what I felt I needed to do specifically in my own case. So it's a good thing to hear the other side of the flip side of the coin, to say it's doable, it can be handled and done really well. So, I mean, If you're giving advice to somebody, sorry.
That is where, just before you go on,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is where parents have a serious task.
Okay.
Okay. You need courage to say, no, I am a home person, a family-oriented person. I need to take care of the kids. They would need me in this age bracket.
Right.
Before they fly the nests, okay?
Right.
You will not follow them all their lives. You're not in your father's house.
No.
All right. Before they fly the nest, they need to be brought up. They need to be groomed.
Nurtured.
They need to be nurtured. I don't know, was it with you or who we're talking about? There's some people who were brought up, there are other people who just grew up.
Right.
And there's a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth.
Yes.
You may not like it, but that is the truth.
It is the truth.
Anyway, you need to have the courage of your convictions to say, this thing is not for me. This thing is for me. The whole crowd is going this way. Right. But I'm sorry. Why don't you just go ahead?
Yep.
I will go here. Or let me wait for some time. When I'm convinced that I'll follow you, but just allow me to, just give me.
Right. Right.
Actually, you need the courage of your convictions to do that. And
right.
Let me land by saying, while some female interpreters are prosperous and others are not, there are also some male translators and interpreters who are prosperous and those who are not, because they are not cut out for the job.
Right.
Let me come to, I've said there are women who are doing very well in the profession and for whom I hold them in high esteem. I have only respect for them. Whatever they tell me to do, they have been my bosses. I would do that. From Brazzaville or from ICITR, National Assembly, Madame Campbell Margaret.
Right, Auntie Bonjour.
She's not a woman, she's not a man. Margaret Campbell, Honorine Sinde, Justine Ago, all women.
Right.
So I have no complex about that. I've seen them perform and they have performed well. I went to school, and this is what parents need to know and what kids need to know. And I think we're addressing them all in this desire to inspire before we expire, which is what maybe we're trying to do as CCAST 81 stars.
Right.
When I went to CPC Bali, we finished primary school and we did all these interviews. I was going to go to Lycée Bilingue de Boya, and I also passed the entrance to CPC Bali. But since my father went to CPC Bali, and I know that good scientists went to CPC Bali, Von Jindam, and a number of others, Zach Formum, Bafo, Chungong Ayafo, not Chungong, the other Ayafo who died, unfortunately, all top science guys, CPC Bali. So I said, no, I want to be a pilot, And then you have those laboratories where I'll learn the sciences. And then you have the airstrip of Bali airstrip there.
Right.
Are flying in and flying out.
Well, it's Twin Otters. There was by the airport. There was Bisolabang Airport. There was those little airports. But there were Twin Otters, yes.
When Cameroon was Cameroon, okay, that's another story.
Right.
I said, okay, I'll be flying to school. I used to go to school by Twin Otter from Yaoundé and land by the school campus, CPC Bali.
Right.
I walk to school.
Right.
And I said, no, I want to be a pilot. So when I do the theory in the laboratory, I'm seeing the plane landing and taking off. This is part of school. This is the thing I want to do. Right. And here we are. We've come from Yaoundé. We're talking about Cinema Abia, Cinema Capital. We talk about
Carrefour, people.
Eh? Goodness. With Asia Walters.
Matthias Ejo.
Well, he was in Lycée Bilingue. He went to
True.
Yes. Zingling Gonenge came before he went to Goya.
Really? Really? Okay. I don't even remember that anymore.
No, he followed Edney over there.
Right. Correct. Like Protestant people, right? The Basel Mission people. Yes.
So here we are. We're shooting our mouths. We are the big boys and all of that. Then the first test is given, and the first test, unfortunately, is in mathematics. EGBE. And the teacher comes and is reading the marks.
That is something else, which is so not a pedagogic. That's a pedagogic disaster. But that's what people used to happen in those days. I hope it doesn't happen anymore.
Well, you have evolved and you are speaking from America, right? That's where you are. Not so. We are back here. So you need to ask what obtains here. Anyway, he starts with those guys who have done well. Now, these are the boys who came from Batibo, Babisi, Babuchuang, Bambalang, all the bar, something.
Musongmabu.
Yes, Musongmabu, leave Edney alone. EGBE, these boys are hitting 100%, 98, 97.
Right.
For some, the guys are just, I was just there. And then the worst mark in the class was by a certain Aatsa Atogho.
Right.
25%. The class went wild.
That's what they call carry class. You carry class.
After, you see, you know what? You take a pin and put it in a balloon, a big balloon. You just put a small pin there.
Yes.
A few days after, you know, this is a boys' school.
Right.
You know what we're talking and quarreling about. And then somebody just said, please, please, please. When we're talking here, people who have 25% should not be talking. I don't know why people who have 25% are talking now like this.
Right.
EGBE, I was finished. I thank God, all right? I knew that mathematics and eventually piloting
aviation is not for you.
Because I was told that you will be dismissed. And you know that people were dismissed now. Yeah. Yes, if you failed too badly, you were dismissed.
Yes, or at the very best, you would repeat the class. Actually, for you who didn't know, I knew since from Mrs. Folemu and arithmetic in primary school. That ain't for me. Not one bit.
No, you see, I don't know why I thought that I could shine.
I do not know who to.
That day, I knew that it was finished. But now it was matter of survival. I knew that I would not be a pilot, but at least I have to stay in the school because people tell me that you'll be dismissed. One or 2 times here, you'll be dismissed. You pack your things and go. Right. You think that your father is, you'll be dismissed. Every I go, say, you'll be dismissed. So we will go to Form 2. Those of us who will go to Form 2, those of us who will be here next year, as if to say, those of you who will not be here.
Will not be here.
Anyway, you know the expression say, you hold grass.
Right.
I hold grass. So I waited for the English literature. Went for French. And then I saw that, oh, the other guys could not come anywhere close.
Exactly.
History, good. And I said, oh, I see, okay. I knew that I was an art student.
Right.
And so I failed only mathematics, but I passed the other science students, top subjects, but I knew that I was an art student. And I said, okay, so what should I be? I said, okay, then I'll do languages, I'll do international relations, I'll become an ambassador. And then I'll still fly from one place to the other, even though I'm not the pilot, but at least I'll still fly. So it's not so bad.
There you go.
That was it. And I did that, and that's how we met again in CCAST BAMBILI in the A1 with the languages as a preparation to go to international relations, because a diplomat, if you speak more languages, you have more opportunities.
Correct.
You can better interact, you can better deliver.
Right.
So that's why I was doing the languages until we met Chungong Martin in first year university.
Right.
You remember EGBE?
Yes.
Chungong Martin came to class and said, Asia Walters, EGBE MBIWAN, Aatsa Atogho, all of you will be translators, will work together. We say, you're too far, we cannot happen, leave it, don't be deceiving us. We said, no, we'll work together.
Right.
So this guy just amazed us.
Right.
You remember?
Yes, yes.
He shuttled from English to French and back to English. And
effortlessly.
Okay? Yes. Pristine English.
Right.
No accent.
Nope.
Cet accent.
Yes.
And we were all like, no, he's
amazed.
No, he's Francophone.
Right.
See, bet. Can we bet? He's Anglophone. I'm telling you, he's Francophone.
Yes, you could tell.
To ask him, excuse me, sir, are you Anglophone or Francophone? You know Martin. Martin looks at us. That is not part of the topic of my class today.
I should just jump in there and say, that's the thing about translators, interpreters on first name basis things. I'm still sitting here saying you should be saying Dema, not Matt. But that's the thing. When you say Justine, I'm still going. It's not Madame Mago. I'm still sitting here saying Madame Mago. I'm like, how dare he? In my brain, I'm still going. But that's the thing that we don't get. And I remember Mabel, who also is on Vosaworld, already talking about how they're calling their George Ngwa. Mr. George Ngwa, calling him George. I was like, Excuse me.
I too
But
am
that's the thing. He told them. That's what he told them. That's what you're going to have to. That's what you should call me. That's how we roll in this profession. So that's what I'm saying. So people should not think that you're being disrespectful. That's how it works.
See, I owe my professional life to Martin Chungong and to Justine Ago. And in fact, let it be known, I created an endowment fund at ASTI and created prizes for the best French interpreter in honor of Justine Dongo Keller and the best English interpreter in honor of Martin Chungong. It is my way of saying these people paved the way for me.
Right.
I'm not a rich man, but I earn my living honestly, and for that I thank God.
Yes. Amen to that.
Profession where even after having left the public service, EGBE.
Right. You see, because the people who stayed in the public service there, once you retire, then what? You know, whatever they were doing there, you were a director general in a place. There's nothing that you were, whatever it is, those titles that look kind of big and grand when you were there, but you don't really have a craft. You don't have a craft. Let's talk about a profession. A trade. That's the word I'm looking for. That you can go and now use anywhere. That is marketable anywhere, anytime. You see, when you were sitting there in an office and you're dealing with papers, documents, dossier. When you retire and you go on out there, you reach the clock 60 and you go on out there, there's no dossier you're going to be having to just process there. You're kind of on your own, as opposed to having a trade, as you're saying, a skill. Because if you're a tailor that work for the government, making government uniforms, that you know how to sew. So you can go and actually open your little atelier down the road there and make a couple of clothes and things for the neighborhood. That's what people should also factor in about what you call the job you go to do, and whether you have some skills that you can hone and actually put out there that will answer a need.
You know, I'm smiling because you said skills that you hone. You see, this is what you call collocation. There are some words which go with each other, but until you know the language, until you can appreciate the niceties, the trappings of any language, you will not identify those idiomatic expressions. And these are what identify you from your first 5 minutes interpreting. Right. Your audience begins to respect you. They know that they have a good interpreter. They even forget that this is interpretation because they are comfortable. Right. But if you start mixing the prepositions, you don't have any idiomatic expression. You start using, then they start turning to look at the booth. They say, where is that interpreter from? Exactly. The moment they start turning to look at you and they're not smiling, your performance is going to drop. But when you're doing well and nobody's looking, or you use an expression which you know is good, and then somebody who knows, because knowledge is for those who know. Right. Somebody who knows, he turns back. That
reminds me of Bime, John, I think it was John Bime. Oh Lordy, God rest his soul. The people who know this is. I guess we should not. We are all preaching to the choir here. You're talking to somebody who knows the thing, who are comfortable in the Queen's language or in la langue de Molière, and they speak, and you're like, that is good. That is so well said. You read it, you enjoy it. Somebody just reading it or just listening to it doesn't quite even know what it is exactly in what that person said, but it just comes out so much. It just flows so much more. It just flows better. It's fluid like that.
The French say, "Je buvais du petit lait." You know the French are so.
Oh yeah.
J'étais suspendu à ses lèvres.
Exactly. You're hanging on to every single word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the person. Yeah.
Because the guy is eloquent, he's fluent.
Right.
He's handling the language, he's marshalling his arguments, he's flowing with alacrity and dexterity.
That's right.
You are carrying away.
Extrapolating and elucidating.
Now, when you have a good speaker, somebody who is speaking well, now you two also want to speak well. Donc, vous haussez le niveau, vous élevez le niveau.
That's right.
Now, you identify with your audience. My thesis in school in ASTI was personality and style in the translation of committed texts. And I took Philippians chapter 3
Right.
Where Paul is writing to the Philippians and talking about his life, and I forget the past and I strive for the future and all
Right.
of that.
Press on regardless.
And you know, Egbe, I asked you to translate that passage for me. And my position, my stance was for anybody to translate or interpret well, the person's background is going to count.
Right.
Now, you have the tools, the English language, the French language, you must be good.
Right.
But then the topic in discussion, the topic or the substance of that matter,
right.
If you are familiar with it, if you are acquainted with it, if you are comfortable with it, if you
preach
have
on.
a mastery of it,
right.
then you are explaining, you're not just interpreting.
Oh, yes.
You're communicating.
You add dash.
The last part. The last part is if you share the message.
Right.
Now, Egbe, we go into all types of things. I'm invited to interpret for lesbians.
Right.
Okay. For gay rights.
Right.
That's something which I don't share, unfortunately.
You don't subscribe to, yeah.
Yes. So if I have to interpret, or I have to interpret for one of these lodges, okay, I don't want to name anyone.
Right.
I don't share their convictions.
Exactly.
I will do my work.
The cut and dry.
Professionally,
yes.
I'll do my work and I'll work out.
Right.
All right?
Right.
But if it is a topic that I love, if I'm working for the FIFA and we're talking about the 1998 World Cup finals, France, Brazil.
Right.
I need to describe the 3 goals by Zinedine Zidane.
That is up your alley.
Ronaldo,
right.
Which I watched.
Yes.
And you know, I went to the World Cup in Brazil.
Right.
I love soccer. If you're not talking about soccer, something that I understand, before you do an illusion, I know what it is. It's going to be different.
Exactly.
So the whole thing is, are you in your place? Are you doing what you are cut out for?
Correct.
I thank God my father did not force me to say, you went there to do science. You must do science in CPC Bali.
Right. And you'd have been at best a very mediocre scientist, some at best.
No, Egbe, this is the sad thing about it.
Yep.
I was just trying to assure one of my classmates, you know how many we are helping.
Right.
A classmate of mine who has difficulties. Many, because of peer pressure, because it was the in thing. It was fashionable to go to the blackboard and do X, Y to the power 7 to the whatever.
The things that just made me ill.
And then they'll come and look at us and they say, Napoleon. Napoleon died a long time ago. What are you doing, Napoleon? It's women who do arts. Eh?
Right.
Treated as women.
Yeah.
Do you know what it means to tell a man that he's a woman? Anyway, don't do that. But in a boarding school, it's survival of the fittest, man.
All right.
So, but we had to be firm. And that's why I'm saying we need to inculcate that to our kids. Parents, let your kids have what the French say, you can't assoir.
Right.
Of your own.
Right.
All right. Be your own person.
Be your own person.
God created me.
That's right.
Like the trees and the birds, I have a right to be here. All right? I'm a child of the universe.
That's so.
I didn't ask to be born. I was born here just like you. You have a right to be here. I have a right to be here.
So do I.
Can I just do the thing that I have to do? I ran into a lot of difficulties creating competence. Because some people felt that I had no right to do it. I'm like, come on, am I supposed to ask you or who? You are a competitor in the market, and you want to tell me how the market is supposed to? You are a competitor.
Don't let me get to that topic, because that's the thing. You find a thing that your niche you want to do, somebody trying to tell you how to do it, and tell you. I had that thing with my little miserable sick-up pride. Somebody says, no, this is how it is. We will control it. We'll tell you what to write and what to say. I'm like, in what world? No, ça ne se passe pas comme ça.
Egbe, if there's one thing that people should pick from this, kids, take your time, think, look at yourself, look at the market. Like I tell my son, he wants to play soccer. I say, well, it's good to play soccer, but there are so many footballers. To succeed in soccer is going to be very tough. I called Clement, I called Tietus Ejua. These are professional footballers. I told him about Chalin Tamak, who played in Canon and played in the national team. I said, I like it, but I think you should play tennis. You are tall enough, you are athletic, You may succeed more in tennis than in that I'm doing. I said, okay, since it is for fun, there's no issue. So I said, you play football for yourself, you go to school for me. Have you understood?
Right.
Play football for yourself.
Right.
You will go to school for me.
Right. But you see, just not to cut you short, but I had Mola Mongombe here, the artist, the singer, composer person. He said he wanted to do his music from like day one. And of course, his family was like, no, you have to go to school. So he says he did. He went. When he got, because he went to the University of Boya. People don't know that I was only learning that too from here. He went and did law. When he got the degree, he says he went now to his parents and said, here you go. I have fulfilled my mission. Take your document, take your piece of paper. Now, see you later. Off I go to the studio to play my music. In other words, he did it for his parents, like you're saying, to tell your son, do this for me and you do this for yourself. That's exactly what he did. So when you hear him speak, you know that's somebody who went to school, not the average artist who's sitting down there and does not know where the past tense is happening, where the passé composé was supposed to fit in, no clue. He speaks good, clean English, and then he went now to do what was really his calling, what was really his passion. But you never know. Sometimes I tell even the younger kids, sometimes before you actually blossom out there in whatever you've chosen to do, sometimes you need that certificate thing, that document thing to feed your passion. You don't yet have sometimes the luxury of doing what it is that you want to do just yet. So you stick to that job where you are, because you're getting a paycheck from there, and you can use it now to fuel that passion to such a time when you can actually wean yourself off that thing and say, now I can stand on my own, I can do this, I'm going to be on my own. But stay in that your little office job, Bank of America thing, they're doing those papers for the time being, getting a paycheck, then using it to buy whatever it is that it takes, the material, the things that you need, and then set up on your own, as opposed to the ones who come straight out of school. I don't want to do anything else, but this is my passion. And then you really put the starving in the phrase starving artist. As we can count your ribs.
Okay, you just used win yourself. Now, how do you win yourself? You beat yourself or win? You see, that's what struck me.
All right.
All right. But again, it has to do with diction.
Right.
It has to do with choice of words. It has to do with the mastery of the language.
Mm-hmm. And if it's your thing, it's your thing. It's your thing. Because it doesn't take me too long either to look at something that's well written. I don't even know the person, but it's just like, oh, wow, I just enjoyed reading this piece. As opposed to somebody can be saying the exact same thing, but it's just bland. The same thing. The sun was shining. But somebody says, that morning the sun rose. And it's describing you can actually see it in your mind's eye. It comes alive. That means you read Thomas Hardy. And those descriptions. When I got to England, I actually saw those countrysides. I was even disappointed. Did you freeze? Oh, I think I lost you. Oh no, you're back. You're back. You froze for a second.
I was saying I loved the use of win. That we should choose our words well, and that I just admired that.
Right.
And I was saying, when God says there's foolishness in the minds of children, a cane will take it out. It talks about discipline and the fact that kids will not necessarily listen. Yes. But we need to get the children to listen. And I'm talking to children, please listen. I told my son, you've seen my father. He's old and tired, but he used to be young and he used to trash me. Okay.
Right.
If he did not trash me, you would not even be in this world because I would be a rascal or maybe dead.
Right.
Kids, listen to your parents.
Right.
But again, parents, listen to the kids.
Do not provoke the children. Yes.
It's all there.
It's all there.
As much as parents, you should be confident about your child doing what the child can do. And then you should be able to know that this child is good at this and not at that. At this and not at that.
Right.
Guide the child. Because a number of people, my classmates, were under pressure to do the sciences.
Right.
And they just skipped their way 4 O levels. When 2 A levels.
Right.
They burnt their manda.
Right. Grade.
Yes, they grade and they are barely struggling. In the French say, "Il tire le diable par la queue." I don't know where they get these expressions.
That is that reminds me of Onana, who used to give some such funny examples about it.
Onana died.
Oh no!
Oh
Oh
yes,
no!
Nana died, but we gave him a good funeral. And again,
Oh.
while I'm not for funerals, I was happy that we all expressed appreciation across the world to say this was a teacher who molded the best translators, the first.
Personal.
Oh
That
yes,
is.
Daniel
He put
Onana.
he
Daniel
put
Onana. We used to call him Daniel Seleskovich.
yes. He used to put he could put the humor in certain things. You don't remember? I don't know that he taught you about the because I was a year ahead. I don't know that he told your class about the kukup that his uncle his uncle in the village his uncle in the village wanted. Send the message that he wants a new kukup. That's the cutlass thing. What's the kukup? And that it has to be mother in China. I'm like, what?
Oh,
mother in China, like made in China.
Do you know that?
You know what he said first? Like, we're all like, what is he saying? He said it again. Mother in China. I'm like, it was the funny. I've never forgotten it. That was in what in '86 that he made that joke. I mean, I laughed myself silly. Oh no, I'm so sad to hear he's gone.
So EGBE, imagine you are interpreting that sentence.
Right. You have to know. You will sit there till sunset and have no clue what it is that you could say. What he's trying to say.
Indians who come with an accent.
Right.
This guy is from Cakes and Caicos Islands.
Right.
Or Fiji.
Right.
And he's talking about medicine. He's a top medical doctor.
Right.
Medicine in that accent.
Right.
In broken English. You need to, in French, you need to figure it out to discuss. So anyway, Onana died.
Oh,
so,
really?
We need, yes.
But those are the people, those first years in RC were something. Those were some dedicated teachers who came to lecture out of the passion. All of them that used to come, or the Nintai. There was Nintai there. There was even the other one that Nama, and the rest taught the English part of the thing, and then those who taught the actual translation. Who came?
You're forgetting the director, Dr. Moore.
Dr. Moore. Oh,
anyway, the children. I then did languages. I wanted to go to Eric, but when I met Martin Chungo, I was so impressed. The way he carried himself,
right.
The way he mastered his subject,
right.
And I said, "Oh, I want to do translation and interpretation."
Right.
And that's how we went to ASTI.
Which is why we need to watch us. The eyes are watching. When they say the eyes are watching you, they are watching. People do look oh, I wanted to go to Seka, not just because of my own sister that was there. I saw Sister Stella Anyangui, and I said, if I don't go to that school, whatever that school is that she went to, that's where I'm going to. Because of the way she carried herself, the way they looked there, my older aunt and everybody, the way they carried themselves, like that's the school I'm going to. They passed that common entrance into that entrance to the College Bileng. Even though after first term in Seka, I came back, I said to my father, I said, you remember I had passed the entrance exam, the interview to College Bileng. Can I go there now? After I had 1 year in Seka, and the thing showed me Pepe. Where had I ever seen a tap where you open you turn the thing and nothing is coming out? I'm like, what is this? It's a come, sir. They said, you know, there's Likumba, there's a stream, there's a brook down there. That's where you go carry water. I'm like, what? Oh no! I came that first term, Christmas break, and begged to not be sent back. When I went, I now saw what the thing was like. And then instead they said, the more you ask and beg not to go back, the more we realize you need to go back and go learn a thing or two from there. So it's those are the kind of things you see somebody and they inspire you, and the way they carry themselves and what they do make you want to actually go ahead. And you know that some people make, when I grow up, I want to be like you. That's what they're talking about right there. So I take it, you in as many words as you've said there, it's a profession that you love. Well, I'm not trying to say anybody who's paying you should not pay you because you deserve you deserve your salary. But it's clear that you don't do it only for the paycheck. So would you say that is kind of like a guide to what young people should be looking to do? Find something that you would like to do. Of course, you deserve to be paid, but that you would do whether or not you got paid. Is that kind of like some kind of something they should consider when they're trying to choose a profession?
You see, I like this expression, mixing business and pleasure.
Right. Right.
Business comes before pleasure.
Right.
All right?
Right.
What is the business? If this is not my business, then I have no business here.
Right.
What is the business? You must look at, first of all, at what am I getting from here? What is on the agenda? I want to earn an honest living. You don't grow up at a certain level in society, and then when you are mature, you're an adult, you go down a few rungs of the ladder below. You don't do that. I told my children, my father went to school on foot, trekked from the hinterlands of the Northwest towards Nigeria, all the way to the coast to go to school. Because he went to school, he took us in his car to school.
Right.
All right? So he raised it. Now, because I was taken to school in a car, I have now taken you guys in an airplane to another country to study.
Right.
Your children should have private jets, or they should travel by satellite.
It should. Every generation should take it up a notch.
You have betrayed your ancestors. You are ungrateful to God. Now, so the issue is, ask yourself, am I going to earn an honest living from this? I might love this thing, very good. But is it going to feed me and my wife and children that are going to come?
Correct.
You need to be sober.
If
you like something else, all right, do it on the sidelines.
Right. That's what I was talking about.
If that thing can feed you, well and good. Oh my goodness, then you made it. Because
you hit the jackpot.
The blend, you hit the jackpot. You hit gold. All right, that is wonderful. But if not, ask yourself: is it going to give me an honest living? When it has given you an honest living, then you can now engage in your passion.
Right.
If your passion is not feeding you, I'm afraid that passion, you will not be so passionate about that passion. I want somebody
on that empty stomach and with the lights turned off.
EGBE,
you cannot pay the bills.
See me on this one. J'attends le démenti. J'attends. This thing, you enjoy something where you are hungry, you are frowning, and you are doing.
No, it doesn't work like that.
So ask yourself.
Ventre famina puendo, right?
Because
right.
EGBE, we live once, okay?
Right.
We live once. And then here, I'm great. I'm not as young as I used to be.
No.
I cannot apply for a number of jobs now. The positions I cannot apply for.
Right.
It is finished.
Right. Right.
You cannot gamble with your life. I tell young people, you are at the prime of your life. You have energy. Before you have opportunity. You can make money. You can go places. Do not waste your youth.
Right. Don't squander it.
Just be sober. Just give some thinking to what you want to do.
Right.
Look at the 75-25 proportion.
Right.
You can decide to use 75% of your life in fun, and then you waste the 25, or you can decide to invest 25 and then you enjoy 75.
Correct.
Tell yourself, you have your youth. Be sober, be disciplined, be hardworking. Do you know that because of Martin Chungong, I refused to speak Pidgin English when I got to National Assembly?
Right.
I only began speaking Pidgin English later in my life.
Right.
I stopped all the Bambe boys thing that we spoke in parks and all of, you want to behave like you're the guy.
Yes.
You have all the expressions. But because I wanted to be a good interpreter, I needed to master my English and French. So I'd read Jeune Afrique.
Right.
I'll read Times, I'll buy them, I'll read Newsweek. I had notebooks, I used to copy expressions. I have my notebook of expressions that we learned with Watat in BAMBILI. I have it.
Yes, I remember him. I hope he's still alive and well someplace.
No, he's dead and gone.
Oh, no.
EGBE, we used to learn those expressions. Okay, maybe it was to impress the girls. Well, now this is something else. Yeah, but we learned good French, all right? With Clement Fondufe and Nelly Isaac.
Yes, we did Vieux Cruel. I'm going back to the what books Ezaboto, Vieux Cruel, and there was what else that he taught. Oh gosh, it's just Eugenie Grandet was when that was Guakele.
That was with
That's
another, Madame, I don't know.
De Maizière, no, De Maizière was in Lyon. Was it other?
Madame Sophia.
Therefore, this show will be 4 hours.
Anyway, Egbe, I was saying for the career, parents have a role to play. Thank God my dad did not force me to do the sciences. And thank God I could tell him I want to do the arts and I want to be an ambassador.
I was fine with it.
I thank God again for Martin Chungong, who impressed me so hard. I said I would go and do translation. I thank God that I met Justine Dongo Kele, who moved me from translation into interpretation just by listening to me.
Correct. And we thank people like that because sometimes they see things in us that we ourselves may not see.
No, that is the most strict person that I know about the profession.
Right.
She cooks for us on Friday. On Monday, if you get to work late, you see mature men who are dodging, getting behind pillars. Husbands,
yes.
Because if you still sees you in the corridor, you're supposed to be interpreting, you're supposed to be translating a document, that she gives you that look.
Right.
Vintage Justine look.
Right.
You're just smiling, that wry smile, your guilt, and you walk away back to your office.
Right.
But this is a person who knows, she listens to you 3 sentences. She has tuned off. You're not good. If you are good, she tells you to come and sit and she asks you, can you correct this passage? That is what big people do. Right. It is a phenomenon.
Right.
Right. These are guys who have distinguished themselves and who have molded this profession. So
do you see
that people know that?
Yes.
It's important that people know that.
The shoulders on whom the people coming behind are standing. And I'm wondering, do you see, particularly, I'm not there to really see it, and you are still in the field. Do you see that continuing? Because now I'm trying to go into the legacy part now of the whole equation. Do you see that a solid base? Because if not, then that would have been wasted if you don't see the same kind of crop coming along.
There are a few people who are committed to ensuring that the legacy lives on.
Right.
I think, and as president of APTIC, I told myself, I meet Margaret Campbell, Joseph Fossap, John Fombang, Chungong Martin, Winslow Sone. Man, Toumani Touré says, il y a des coups d'état utiles. Quand tu as un fainéant au-dessus de toi, il est mal à l'aise, toi-même tu es mal à l'aise, ça ne va pas.
Exactly.
Tu veux le botter. Excuse me.
Sorry.
But when you have a competent boss, Egbe, you are whistling to the office.
Right.
If you have an issue, you walk into the office.
A competent and secure in their own skin. Because when you have insecure, oh Lord, that is c'est fini. You're done. You cannot be your best because you don't want to upset him or her because he's going to sit and then it becomes a Saul has killed his thousands and David his 10,000s, and that is the end of the story there. Then they begin to look for a javelot thing to come and pin you to the wall with. Yeah.
I said, you live only once. You don't want to gamble with the opportunity you have as a young person. And even the older people, after retirement, you want to be relevant. Many are seeking relevance. And because they did not do things right or they missed a few things, in trying to seek relevance at 60, 70, 80, you instead cause more problems.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
When's the need to be aware as soon as possible about where you want to go to? It is uncomfortable. If I tell you what my pension is from the National Assembly, I'm an A2. That is, I got into the public service from the top.
Right, right.
And I worked for 20 years, and then I went abroad, and then my pension is, you know that there's a poster somewhere, he said, God looked at the work I do, he was very happy. He looked at my salary, he began to cry.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the type of pittance you ask yourself.
Pittance is the word. Is this what I'm really worth?
You ask yourself, if I was supposed to live on this pension,
alone,
my kids are now in university.
Right.
And take care of my wife, take care of many people from my family, because Ngwo is not a big village, it's not a big village. We have a lot to do. Many people.
Right.
You start understanding why people don't want to retire.
Right.
You now understand why these people who don't want to retire start frustrating the people who they want to take over from them.
Right.
And they're not going anywhere.
Yes.
Then you find yourself growing old. You are drawing to near to retirement. You've never been a chef de service in your whole life, even in the Ministry of Livestock and Industry, or I don't know which one. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, you've never really held any position. Not anywhere.
I tell you. Yep.
And then the position that you're aspiring to, this man has been there for the past 20 years, he doesn't want to go.
I tell you. This is so funny.
Why would you be tempted to do something foolish?
Yes.
Which means that you will finally leave that place, you will never have that position because that old bar is there.
Yes. He intends to go the day he intends to collapse in that office and be taken out in the circle from that office. He's not going anywhere. No. It's just no.
Let me inspire the young people.
Right.
Let me inspire the young people.
Right. And
find your niche. Find your niche and enjoy it. If you pay me for my job, I will work. If you don't pay me for the fun of it, I will
do it all the same.
I will impress the people. They will come and thank me.
Right.
And I'll go home. The money, we do forward spending. Some of the money that we are earning has already been spent. It's already booked. But the compliment I get, I cannot take away.
Oh yeah.
That look, say, that interpreter is nice. Or I crack a joke. This guy is angry. I too get angry. The guy laughs and I also laugh. The guy coughs and I also cough, just to be part of the meeting.
Yes.
Is having fun.
Yes.
And he's happy in his meeting, he's confident, and I'm also happy. I go back home, the money will go away, but I'll remember.
Right.
So we should have the courage to choose our own niche, and then every job is important.
Right.
I was telling a driver, I was in a conference in Abidjan. We are doing something on human rights. And I'm working for the Global Alliance Against Mass Atrocity Crimes because of what I saw in ICITR, and I'm trying to get involved in international relations and politics and political science. So we had this conference in Abidjan, and the driver who was supposed to take me to the airport, I was had to rush back to Addis Ababa to cross over to Arusha. I couldn't get my COVID test done. I couldn't get the results. This driver did everything. I'm flying the next morning, early morning. I don't have my test results, which means I will not be able to board. Which means that my meeting in Arusha is jeopardized. Right. But this guy, I called him and I told him in the night, he said, "No, ne vous en faites pas, patron, je vais me battre, je vais faire ce que j'ai à faire." He did everything. And by the time I was complaining to his boss, my colleague, that le chauffeur ne m'a même pas appelé pour me dire, il dit que non, c'est ça dans mon sac. C'est quoi dans ton sac? He gave me my results. It was like he was giving me $500,000. Exactly. But because that was the key to your $500,000 that you're supposed to get. If you did not get the thing, so you don't travel, you don't go do the job, nothing's going to happen. So I told him, I will give a good report about you to your boss. I'm impressed. If you did not bring me to the airport in time, I would miss this flight. And if I miss this flight, I'll miss the other flight. I'll miss the other meeting. And the rest of the whole, it will spiral. I told him, the role that you play, I cannot play it. So please continue to play it. Correct. And everybody should know that everybody has a place. You knew Pa Andrew. Pa Andrew was Pa Muna's cook. Pa Andrew's kids today, they are university professors in Cameroon and abroad. Right. This is Pa Andrew. That is the chief cook. Even Ejo Matthias, our friend. Yes. The father was a cook. Right. But look at him and his brothers. Yep. But they did their jobs well. They had stable jobs. And where they were, their kids went to school. And the kids have prospered. Many people who had big jobs, their kids, I am yet to find where they. That tends to be the case where they're so comfortable and just have everything. They're spoon-fed, silver spoon, born with a silver spoon in the mouth. Don't think they need to knack skin.
The next thing you know, you come and look at all the names that you were sitting there in the primary school with and everything, and you look at they're like, who's until? You can't find them. Yeah.
I can write a book about this matter because, you know, I met you in Yaoundé. Mm-hmm. When did you get to Yaoundé? I got there in 72, but you were already there.
69. Yep, doyen. When people say, oh, you don't understand the Anglophone problem, like, don't even go there. Some of us were there when that school was the only school, the only English-speaking school where we were the only people in the entire Yaoundé wearing a uniform. So your Biafraness was very easily identifiable.
I'll send you something. I'll send you something by some Bali old boy who was explaining how powerful Lemu was among those who built that school and who led the strike to say, we shall wear our uniforms.
Exactly.
You either copy us or you allow us to, but we're not going to let
there's a tiny group of people there that we met. There was the Fulhams, and we're all in Mesa at the time. Don't mind how people came and become the Chinga thing came and overpowered Mesa. But well, Mesa, you have the Nibos, the Nibos in the yes. And then you had the Chumfong that time, the Shivon Chumfong, this little, and the Kimas, Pa Achu them, the early sister Eli Achu them, and the rest, the Mafiambas, yes. Were there in that place on the way to the lac, yes. Those were the few families that you found there at the time. Mr. Okang, let Mr. Enanchong, they lived in there by the Imprimerie Nationale. Yeah, those are the people that we found there.
EGBE, anyone? I can name those families, the Anglophone top families.
Right.
The Francophone top families which lived in Guakele there.
Right.
Okay. You ask, where are they today? You'd have to look hard.
Right.
But I'm saying each person has his place, and I despise no man.
No.
None. None. If you are cut out to be a carpenter, be a good one.
Right. Right.
It's Michelangelo said it. If you are cut out, even Martin Luther also said it. If you're cut out to be a mason or
be the best at it,
be a good one.
Right. That's right.
I know a kid, EGBE. I know a kid whose father was very rich. And this guy was not just very, very smart in the regular school program, okay? I'm sure he could have found something else for him to do. He pushed him to go to Italy so that from Italy he could go to America. He went to America and finally, to cut a long story short, he was deported to Cameroon. This is the kid of a top civil servant in Cameroon.
Right.
Just because you want your son to be among the, I don't know who.
Yeah. So sometimes it really is our fault with the parents, and not finding the right middle of the road thing where yes, you're motivating, yes, you're pushing, but you're letting the child do what it is that they really feel like doing, that they can actually handle. If you were not there tomorrow, or like look at the people like Steve Jobs, the other one, Bill Gates, who doesn't give his children any free pass, saying just chill. I've amassed all of this fortune. When I go, you can have all of this stuff. No, it says go work, go do something, you know, and not spoil them. The children of I know Denzel Washington's son that has gone to regular college, playing in the football, doing his thing, you know, being a regular kid, so that your child learns to fend for himself, and you could actually spoil them into nothingness. You could spoil them into failure because you just have given them everything. They don't have any survival skills and they cannot cope out there in the world.
EGBE, we have big responsibilities. Parents have huge responsibilities. Teachers have huge responsibilities. There are teachers whom I will go out of my way. You remember I talked to you about Madame, I really need to find her name. This lady who had curved legs, she was teaching French, and who whenever we were all tired and the class was getting boring, she wanted to bring some comic relief. You know, urban and comic relief, and the guy in the concubine, there was this guy, he used to be the village. The village,
like the village clown.
The village clown.
Oh.
I became the village clown in that class because whenever the class was tense and they wanted to laugh, the madam would say, Maintenant, c'est l'heure de la lecture par les élèves. Qui est-ce qui va lire? The whole class. Aatsa, Aatsa, Aatsa. Because Aatsa will read a French passage in English.
Where?
I'll pronounce everything wrong.
Right.
And as I'm pronouncing, everybody, people are dying of laughter and going under their benches and carrying their feet in the air.
That was what Mama do Ebineta or Pierre. Mama do Ebineta.
Then the class will continue now because everybody's awake because they've laughed at Aatsa.
That's right.
That is what I endured. You see, but to avoid being the scum and the mockery of the mockery of the class, I used to now to work hard on my French.
Right.
And that is
that's paid off
to earn my living today.
Right.
So for teachers, this lady made me work hard. And so when I wanted to celebrate 20 years serving the National Assembly, I got her, I sent my driver to go and pick her in a house in BMC.
Right.
And brought her to Palais. I told her that you are coming to make a speech. I'm going to do 20 years serving the National Assembly. When she met me, I was like, I introduced her myself. I said, oui, ça c'est qui encore? This is 1972.
Right, you couldn't remember all the matches she has taught since then.
2007. So I'm driving and I see her on foot and I stop and I greet her and I introduce myself. Say, hello, donc, I say, okay, oui, je me rappelle. Mais qu'est-ce que vous faites maintenant? Je suis à l'Assemblée nationale. Vous êtes à l'Assemblée nationale? Madame. Oh, mon fils.
Ouais.
Je suis traducteur-interprète. Traducteur-interprète? Mon fils, c'est comme ça?
Ouais.
Madame, je suis le président des traducteurs et interprètes du Cameroun. Auntie.
Babala.
So I sent the car to pick her and
brought her to the Palais de Congrès.
It was at the Hotel de Député.
Right.
That's where we had it. Grégoire was there. Cavaille sent his representative. Bandam was there. God bless his soul. A number of other top. And then international organizations I used to work for as competence, as interpreter, and then staff, and then my family, of course, my father-in-law, a number of people were there. Joseph Fossab, who helped me to get into the profession.
To start
my father said, you cannot come to the National Assembly. This is a family place. Why is he coming to the National Assembly? He should go to school. Fossab said he wants to do an internship and then he will go to school. My father said, is it a family place? Joseph Fossab said, David, you are in politics. This boy wants to do translation. He has always wanted, so allow him. That's how I got to the National Assembly.
Right.
Right. But these people came and this lady made a speech before the representative of the National Assembly. She broke into tears, EGBE.
Oh.
She said, I have gotten diplomas. I've gone to higher ecole normal. I'm retired. But that it is my son who makes me speak before the top officials of the country. I thank God and I really appreciate.
Look
and
at
she
that.
broke down into tears.
Look at that.
Let me tell the teachers.
These are the rewards.
EGBE, this is not the Chinese yen. It is not the pound sterling. It is not the US dollar. This is value that you cannot set a price upon. Okay?
That's it. That's it.
This woman, and believe me, I'm ready to see wherever I meet this woman, I cannot allow her to just walk away like that.
Right.
But that tells you what a teacher can do.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Teachers should be very careful about the way they do things. I see the same for Martin Chungo. I see the same for Ndongo Keller Justine. Unfortunately, I will not say the same for some other teachers of mine. I know
a couple, and I'm not going to say their name. And I'm not going to say their names. I know a couple that you're not fond of. But even they, as I say, anything that happens in life, even they have a place to play that make you want to just do better. Let's say that should, because it doesn't always work like that for people. They've done that kind of thing and demoralized some people into not going forward. But for some of us who are some cashew people and some strong-head people, you say that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to show you. I will show you. But I know that there's people who said, some teacher who had said, nah, this writing, I don't know that it's something that you can do. Blah, 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 blah. Then I'm like, see, now you submit that one. Find a place and sit you down. And I will go. And that's kind of, so our children to sometimes, they have to learn to take things in stride and sometimes take what is relevant criticism and know that this is a good critique, work on it, and then find the one which you be able to discern and tell the one which is like, oh, please, I know I can do this. You're just talking, and I can actually make sure that I show you that I really can, as opposed to somebody's telling you seriously that no, this thing is not for you. And then you go to American Idol, still you really can't sing, and we're sitting there saying yes, yes, yes. Then off you go to American Idol and crow, as they say, you crow there, and Simon Cowell says that was atrocious. So you're sorry.
You need to go that far to be told that was atrocious.
But that is the thing, because everybody else around them said it was great. They said, Papa, you check, Papa, now so. And nobody had the courage to tell you, no, it really isn't good. So these things our precious children need to know. Look, that's why everybody needs in their own corner an honest, good person who will tell you, if you say, that's the thing, those friends you mentioned, these are my friends too. If you tell me, Clement says something, what has to say something, say Nyango, say Nyango. So, no, I will listen. I will listen because I know it's coming from a good place. They say, Mami left, so don't even know, I beg. Child.
Let me salute, talking about these people telling the truth. Let me salute my friend. No, I failed partial when I got to University of Yaoundé.
I remember.
Yeah, EGBE. Can you not tone it down a bit? Now I remember it.
I remember.
No, EGBE. Clement was livid. Clement would not entertain it.
Right.
Clement came to my room. He did not see me.
Right.
He left the note under my door. I said, I'm going to Bamenda. I don't know you to be a failure. You are better stay here during these holidays and study to pass in June. I don't want to hear September.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Right.
I held that note. It was a strong message.
Exactly.
Only a friend. Only a telling
yes,
friend.
Somebody telling you that I don't want you to disappoint me. And that counts. That's some clout. Yes. I know some stories. Look. We should not be saying some things. This is going to go public. So, but I know right from the Bambili days, the ones who actually sit and say, no, come and study. Come and study. Go and just leave a spot by alone for a minute or two. GC is coming. Papa left us. So don't only run away from Istanbul. Left also and just come and study. But those are friends that you know. They don't have one evil bone in them. They don't have one shred of malice in them. They're saying it and doing it for your own good, and you will listen. And it's such a huge blessing that some people don't understand. Some people don't have. You cannot tell that either it comes from family. You have family that will tell you it's clean and clear, or you have friends that are like brothers that will tell you clean and clear too. So that you know that somebody is saying it. It's not a matter of like envy or anything. They really want the best for you. So look, I know we've been going on and on. This thing about legacy, let's go there. They say the song says, only remembered for what we have done. We are here trying to, as we said, the theme of this whole CAST Bambili group that we are in is inspire before you expire. We know we will expire. How would you like to be remembered? If I used to sit down one day and say to myself, I think I want to write down what will go on my tombstone. You know, you cannot write a whole essay. The tombstone, I don't think that your children want to spend that much money on marble. So it needs to be kind of short answers. And what do you want them to tell their children about you? The way you said, you know about times you said, David Atogho, my father, in this, how many minutes we've been talking, I stopped counting. What do you want Sharis to sit and be saying about you? Both when you're here, she's celebrating when you turn 70, when you turn 80, I've just skipped 60. Or when you're not there, where I tell my children, look, let me tell you something. Your father was like this. Your mother would be so ashamed of you. Your grandfather would be so proud. What do you want them to say?
You know, I like this statement. There is no success without a successor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to somebody and I remember this statement from the Bible, which says, to whom much has been given, much shall be required. I crisscrossed the continent to earn my living honestly, because I think that the day my father told me that the food we eat here, he earns it. when he sleeps in his room, he knows nobody will come to bother him because he's earning his living honestly, and that I should be contented with what he gives me is something that I live with. I think I'm very blessed.
Mm-hmm.
If on my epitaph it is a man who tried.
Right.
A man who tried.
Right.
I'll be fine.
He did the best he could, the best he could, the best he knew how.
EGBE, I have goodwill. I do not have capacity. I may not deliver, but at least my intentions
were pure.
I think they're not pure, but my intentions are good.
Are good.
I have had.
When I say pure, I don't mean like I don't mean pure like meaning that when you put them on a test, the thing you actually it will weigh that kind of thing. Meaning pure, meaning they are genuine. They came from a good place. The fact that they may not pass a test or whatever test you put them through doesn't mean. And the bottom line is God sees the heart. That is why he has a long bunch of criminals and some really funny people he called men after his own heart, that he called a friend of God. Then you're looking, where didn't you see this adultery? Didn't you see this? And so you would call him. That was because that is not how he looks at it. He looks at the heart. Where was this coming from? Where the person's heart was, and then never mind the humanity of the person that pushed them to do certain things that were not right. Mm-hmm.
You know, I said the world is my office.
Mm-hmm.
And because the Bible says God so loved the world. Who would ask me, when are you coming back home? Come and settle in Cameroon. You need to do this. Come and get into politics. Come and do this. I'm like, you see, for me, home is where I feel at home.
Mm-hmm. And
I feel comfortable across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I find a space to sleep. I sleep EGBE. I get up, I do what I have to do. I'm comfortable with all those around me. I do what I have to do, and I'm out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man on a mission. I have a short time here. God gives me long life. I thank God for it. If not, what I've had so far, I'm very, very grateful. On my 50th birthday, I said, I was quoting Bill Clinton, say, I'm just a man. But I've added, I'm just a struggling man. Say, I'm just a man. My friends, they think that they push me too high. I'm not as good as my friends think that I am. But I'm not also as bad as my enemies want to portray me to be. I'm just a man. Me, I'm just a man and a struggling man. And if I can help one or two people, I think I would have tried because I have been helped.
Right.
I have been helped.
Right. Everybody has.
Hospitality for free in Addis Ababa, for free in Arusha, for free in Abidjan. I'm asking, why are these people opening the doors to me?
Right.
So I owe it to do the same to others.
Right.
I owe it to God and to posterity to do the same to others. So if I can inspire one or two young people in a profession which is virtually unknown to say, okay, you can find your niche here. And even after you found it, you cannot just sleep on your laurels. You need to work very, very hard to make it what it is to become. If one or two people draw inspiration from that and they are happy and they can eventually make others happy, then I think I'll go away with a clear conscience, because then I'll say, Lord, I tried.
Right.
You said you saw that I tried.
There's that song, and I know you know it, that then my living will not be in vain. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not.
Passing here just once.
Right.
And in fact, a song I composed, maybe one day I'll sing it. The title, you see, there's Amazing Grace, but the song that I composed a number of years ago is Amazing Love. It's like, I'm saying, why does God love me? I don't know why, but I know he does. Why he loves me, I don't know why, but I know that he does. And in return, I want to love my neighbor. In return, I want to fear him. And then I leave the rest in his hands.
Right, right. That statement that Paul, when he says that I thank God for you. That you see, I remember you with thanksgiving in my heart. That there should be somebody somewhere who may not even know your name, that is sitting there, that's going to bed saying, oh, when your name crosses when your face crosses their mind, when your name is mentioned, a smile breaks out. Ah, you don't kill them, Papa. Yeah, you don't do. And I'm saying, that's the thing. And sometimes they may not know who it is because it doesn't carry a name. but they're smiling there in the place where you gave something that has made their life better. So they don't know you by name to thank Mr. Aatsa Atogho. They just know that they're thanking somebody who helped to thank God for the people who bought these beds, these mattresses that we're sleeping on. Thank God for the person who sent us. They don't, and they may never meet you here on this earth, this side of the Jordan. But the day will come when they come up to you and say, wow, you know, I ended up going to a good school. So people are the ones who actually put that money together and paid for me to go to this. I ended up being somebody. And you made the difference in my life. And you may not get to hear the thank yous like that here, but it counts. It matters. You have done something, and that is what will count far more than all of the kankang that we just run around the place doing, the tapage all the place. It will not, it will not pass the test. It will not. That's the thing. So
that is where I think that we should plan this thing as part of our program for CAST BAMBILI, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we left CAST BAMBILI 40 years ago and we want to do this anniversary,
right,
as much as possible, I've encouraged my friends, classmates of CAST 81 stars,
right,
just go and tell the story in a school of how your profession works. A day in the life of a lawyer,
right,
a day in the life of an architect, a day in the life of a housewife, and do something. Do you know that I do motivational speaking because of Abuema Choi David?
Wow.
Abuema Choi David was governor of the Northwest Province when I was in CPC Bali.
Right.
He came to Bali, black Mercedes, bodyguard. We were all lined up there in our uniforms in front of the main school building, CPC Bali, 1949 AD. He climbs out of his car. He alighted and looked at us all, and then he removed his glasses. You know, those days, glasses meant that you were very intellectual.
Please, if it can still be almost like that today, then how much more then?
And then he came out, they opened the door for him and his wife. He spoke to us in English and he peppered it with a little French. And I'm saying, no, this is what I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
Form 2.
You're inspired. You're inspired.
I mention it wherever I go. And in fact, we were flying to Cote d'Ivoire some time ago, and I told him that, do you know that you came to our school? He said, Abo. Yes. Yes. And he's happy to see me. He was talking to me. I was a kid. I was lost in the crowd. But I still remember. So for me, I look at young people and I tell myself, you don't know, this guy is going to open the door for you.
Yes.
Cindy Chungong, the daughter of Martin Chungong, my mentor.
Right.
She's a big boss. She could recruit me anywhere, anytime.
Right.
I saw Cindy before she existed because I saw Martin and I saw Stella.
I did do a post about her latest appointment where she works now, and I was just saying, looking and like, how did this Cindy become this Cindy I see? Because I only remember in the little church address there, actually when she was born, when she was barely one, when Stella had her. You see, so those are the little people. But look at even the aerospace engineer, Bu Windim, Mbinwi Awunti's daughter. I look at this one. Yes, that's an aerospace engineer, and I was sitting here trying to interview her, trying to chat with her, and just going. I kept on feeling like just sitting there, and like mommy wonders, you know, just to look at what they've become and how well they've done, which is proof that they've been raised right, and that somebody has done something right. You see, hardly, I know that there are exceptions, but hardly do you find a child like that grow up to be what they become with just like that, like Tarzan that was dropped in the bush and is there, and it just turned out to be somebody wonderful. Hardly ever happens. Children hardly become something in spite of what their parents did wrong. They become something because of what the parents did right. So don't sit down there and shake your responsibilities. Babysitter, go here. You don't borrow your way through the whole day and think the child will just, you put the TV on, let them watch while you go. No, it doesn't work like that. So we have our own part to play. They themselves have their own part to play. And then we pray and hope for the very best is what I would say. So what do you want to actually say if we have to conclude? Because if not, I know us here, we'll talk till midnight.
I try as much as possible not to talk because you see, when I talk, that's where they pay me. Now you're not going to pay me, so I cannot be talking much.
Oh, you will get paid. You will hear one day somebody's going to say, I listened to this thing.
Amen.
And I was inspired. I listen to this thing. Even the people who just hear their names mentioned, you see. Because this thing, I will make the audio version of it, this video version of it, and send it to this simple whose names you mentioned 5 times, 10 times. Those who are in their graves who gone on their head are nodding there saying, yes, I do them. Like but that's the thing. And then you make them happy.
Like Bime.
Yes.
We talk about Bime till today. EGBE. Bime, I went and saw Bime in hospital. I'm with Mafri, wonderful lady. Okay? May God bless these people. The one word I would say, EGBE, is it is not so all rosy. It is not. I went for a meeting once. Okay, I've traveled to about 70 countries in the world. You may think that I was telling somebody that who don't believe that I don't have money. They say, no, we don't believe. I say, you see, that's how a man suffers and dies by you, and you don't know that the man has problems. Anyway, there's the beautiful part of it. I've traveled to every continent, I've met people, but there have also been very tough times. And it calls for a lot of humility.
Right.
It calls for a lot of humility. If I have one lesson to teach anybody, is the fact that people need to be humble.
Right.
I went for this conference you have this Rock of Gibraltar.
Right.
There was a conference in Gibraltar. That was a complicated conference because the first thing is we could not land in Gibraltar. We went right down and then the wind was tossing. You have this small aircraft because we could not, it doesn't take. The wind was tossing this aircraft to hit against that wall there.
Oh, wow.
And the pilot just finally succeeded to take off again. And we landed in Santander in Spain and came by bus down to Gibraltar. That was the first issue. Second thing is, at the National Assembly, my mission allowance was 1/4 that of the mission allowance of the MPs. Because I'm just staff. I'm just a poor staff. I'm not an élu du peuple.
Okay. Like Alene Menget says in his skits, Mr. Parliamentarian.
No, so I cannot pay my bills to live in the hotel where the participants at the conference are living. But I need that money to build my house.
Right.
That mission allowance is important. You know what people do to have mission orders signed and they don't go anywhere. They need that money. Okay. So I live in a dingy hotel in a back street far away from the main hotel where the people that matter are living. And I'll rush from my hotel, small hotel room to the main hotel and then get into the bus of the shuttle. And then we go to the conference center or go to the dinner and the governor's house or whatsoever. That's what I did in Paris. That's what I did in Australia. That's what I did in many countries that I visited because I wanted to save some money.
Right.
One evening, one MP whose name I will not call tells me, Aatsa, we're going for dinner. I said, no, this dinner is only for elected officials. I am just staff. We are part of the secretariat. This dinner is only for among you people up there. The man says, leave these white man people and they say they were stingy. Come and let us go. Now, this man happens to be a chief and I'm from the Northwest and I fear chiefs. All right? Make contribution, no catch.
Catch you.
So, against my will.
Against your better judgment.
I forsake my better judgment, EGBE. I read, I know the conferences, I did the speeches for Kavaye, I did them for all the other MPs. I worked for Bello Buba, Sende, Jonah Valamna, Jean, and all of those. I did interparliamentary union conferences here, Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. So I know how those things work. I know the trappings, I know that this one, it is only for speakers,
right.
This one is for MPs, this one is for the Association des Secrétaires Généraux de Parlement. This is what Martin Chumbo introduced me to before going to Geneva.
Right.
But out of obedience to a chief, not wanting a curse, I went.
No, because from Mbe.
Because of Mbe. EGBE, the moment Mbe and I will step into the room, first of all, we come late, which is not something that anybody should do. Punctuality, my profession does not allow it.
Right.
We arrive late, everybody's already seated. You have name tags on seats. And the protocol just walks up to me and said, what are you doing here, Aatsa? You're not invited to this dinner. So I now turned and looked at the architect of my misfortune. I'm like, my look is saying, Did I not tell you?
Yeah.
The man just looks at me and say, okay, find some place, chop some smarty for back there waiting for motor, yeah. Anyway, you know that expression? He saw stars. Okay? The French say, il a vu transi-chandelle. Anyway, I went out of the restaurant. Now, these people know me. We've traveled to Canada on
right.
You meet year to year, you travel from one country to the other.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like, what happened to Aatsa? Why should Aatsa allow himself to be disgraced like this? Anyway, I just turn around and I go. Now, I come out and there's a street passing like that. And then the wall of Gibraltar is there. So like, I think I'm running into the wall of Gibraltar.
The rock, yeah.
The rock. It is
the actual rock.
So, and I don't even know where to go to, either to go left or to go right. And I'm like,
sir,
I have a home, I have a wife, I have staff who serve me food, and I'm thrown out of a restaurant. Far away across the sea. And I'm like, Aatsa, you've hit rock bottom.
But look at what you're calling rock bottom, but you didn't really hit rock bottom. It's just an embarrassing thing. That's not hit rock bottom. There's worse, and you know it.
Everything is relative. Yeah,
Exactly. Which is what I keep telling my children here. I said, oh, Papa, God, please. So I walk around and cancel the things that they say to my daughter. I cancel the things that they say. I'm like, Papa, she didn't say it. Did you hear it from her? Don't let the real thing come. Don't let the real thing come and catch her for her to say, my life is so miserable. Which miserable?
Do you know that my son told me that I saw some poor people today, and I really thank God because you've always provided my basic needs.
Right. Basic care.
Anyway, so let us close this conversation. Let's close it because it will not end. But anyway, that day, something just told me, Aatsa, it serves you right. If you think you are something, you are nothing.
We just sometimes we need those reminders. When something embarrassing happens, you know what I think about? I say, look at this Jesus person. You know the part that I find, because the painters all do the paintings and they put him on the cross and they're courteous enough to put a small loincloth, Tarzan loincloth to do. But he hung there, stuck as his mother who was standing there at the foot of the cross delivered him. Hung there. Papa, that is the ultimate way. You don't even have the embarrassment that Adam and Eve knew. The first thing that God did is actually sewed fig leaves for them to cover themselves. Now, the person who created the entire universe, the person who is it, he comes and hangs on a stick with nails up there. I said, Mommy, me who fell in the middle of the school compound, boom, sat on my derriere, piff. The whole school was there, the gathering, the assembly. I do not know. There was not even any pot de banana there. There was nothing like a banana peel. I do not know.
So what made you fall down, Mama?
I don't know.
Sister.
Except it was my own rock of Gibraltar. I tell you, for no reason. The school would come before they open the building for them, the students to walk in. They're all gathered there. So there's no time in the school day where there's more people gathered in one place than that time. I have gone and made copies for my photocopied some things to give in class. And there was Banza. Come and see. Mommy, Africa, going to her classroom there for no reason that I know of. I got up myself and looked at the place. What is it that I slipped on and fell? Oh, piff, puff, puff. No, when you stumble, then you turn to ramp, then you stand back up. No, I sat with my paper down for no reason that I know of. I'm like, Mommy. Yes. This is Tombe Sanglise, but that's it. And I said to myself, I beg Mommy, pick your things and carry yourself and begin to go. You haven't seen anything. There's somebody who did this, who went through this disgrace for you how many years ago and sat there and was strong there for how long, who didn't do nothing wrong and was put through that kind of shame for people that he made. See, I had written a thing one Good Friday and said, if not me, that was the title of the thing. If not me, that's if it had been me. You people are just lucky. It was Jesus. You would have had no salvation for you, but I'm getting off that cross. I'm like, did you just spit on me? Forget. I'm like mission aborted. Off. God send me an aeroplane, whether an aeroplane or a kite, I'm out of here. For waiting, for a good waiting. Then I go hang there like that. So I'm saying, sometimes we need, we have a picture, an image of ourselves that we have put there. And sometimes God just needs to say, calm down a few notches, big mommy, calm down. This is really it. Don't think too much of yourself there, and let's just, and that's not even bad. That rock, that fall, I don't know who's walking around the place remembering it now or not, but it's a thing that actually helps to just make you just feel this heat can't catch you soon. But just stand there and pick your things and begin to go, then you know. So
I went and I told myself, okay, Aatsa, you are nothing. If you think you're something, you're nothing. You've just been thrown out of a restaurant. So know exactly where you are.
Right.
That's the way I went and sat down at a restaurant, ordered fish, ate my fish, looking at the sea, the distance, and say, I'm from Africa, all across the sea at the other end there. This is what I've gone through, yes.
Yeah.
I told myself, Aatsa, if you think you're something, you are nothing.
Yes.
You cannot throw somebody below the ground.
Right.
If you think you are up, then you can be brought down. When you are humble and you are down, you cannot go further than down.
Is it not one of our teachers in primary school told us, he that is down, was it not Mr. Ekane? In class 4, he that is down need fear no fall. He that is low, no pride.
The people who have issues, they're easily offended, they're irritated. There are people who think that they are something.
Right.
A simple, humble man, he has little issues.
Hey, the way they say, it's a croix.
In a home, in a class,
in
an office, in a country, in the world, if we are humble, and for me, as a Christian, when the Bible says Jesus will tell people, come in, good and faithful servant, come into the rest of your Father. That good for me should be humble person.
Right.
Because if you're not humble, you will not be so faithful, you will not be nice, you will not be true if you're not humble. Because the truth is that we want to prove things and then we lie. Because we want to show off, then we cheat, we steal, we compete. It's because of pride.
But I was going to say, what is the opposite of humility is pride. That is what caused the other Lucifer person. And that is what the thing was. That is what the issue was.
I learned that day humility is key. And for me, you cannot disgrace me because I'm already on the ground.
He that is down need fear no fall. If you're already down.
If we are all humble,
right?
Believe me, even the fighting in our country would stop.
Anyway, homes, marriages, things, and anywhere, playground. That is a quality.
You need two people to fight. The other person just stops.
Right.
You will charge and charge and charge and say, the next time you try me, I'll deal with you, but you have to walk away. The fight is ended. There was no fight.
Right.
So if we did that, it would help, I think, if we're just humble. From that story, for me, it has helped me across my life. You do whatever you do me, I'll smile and walk away. I was earning my living quietly between Arusha and Nairobi because a ticket costs by far more than a bus ride. And there's a bus that shuttles between Nairobi and Arusha. So to catch my flight to go to Addis Ababa, sometimes I'll go by bus from Arusha to Nairobi and then go. And I get to the border and I have a letter from immigration that I can enter into Kenya. And the lady at immigration tells me, my friend, go away, you don't, this, you Cameroonians and whatever. And the bus abandons me there because I don't have papers to enter Kenya and I cannot take hostage the rest of the passengers of the bus. Right. And I'm there in the night all alone, in between nowhere, neither in Kenya nor in Tanzania because
in no man's land.
But I just smiled and I waited and I made a few calls. And then late in the night, somebody made a call and said, give that boy the visa to enter into this place. Right. But I'm happy that I did not get angry, EGBE, because I had been thrown out of a restaurant and seen worse. This one was nothing.
It was nothing. So
if we just take it lightly, I think we'll be the better for it.
If we don't take ourselves quite as seriously as we did, if we don't remember, over take ourselves much more seriously. Much more seriously than you really are. You can laugh at yourself. I mean, just laugh at yourself, you know. But we have a hunger to get an image there, put it together, and then work so hard to keep that image, which is very stressful. If you cannot go, there's some people who, if they ring their doorbell, they have to take like 5 minutes to get to look a certain way to even go open the doorbell. Where you like that is how you were born. Like that's how you were born. For heaven, for crying out loud. No, mommy, no. So I mean, we've had a chat. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I know somebody has been inspired by this. If they didn't get any inspiration, at least they laughed and listened to two classmates from primary school going through the entire thing. Yes. And I say that phrase is make new friends but keep the old. Yes, I can pride myself on that. I have my friends from Depuis, from Sings, probably Sings, like SINC, Sings with the NCE. I tell you, from Depuis, they've been there from the minute I knew them there till today, that I can count on, that I can bet my life on with no problems. So it's just a pleasure to actually know you. And I wanted you to come on here because you've not said it, but you actually are the president of that CAST 81 to 83 little group that has been constituted, that has over 100 and some people need Monsieur le President. So that is something, because that is a group of people who have gone, they went on from CAST BAMBILI, a good number of them, to make something really good out of their lives. And so that's not an easy group to run, if I can put it that way, or to chair, or to preside over, because we all have we have cabinet ministers in there. We have scientists in there. We have people who are professors and everything in that group. So that cannot be an easy thing to do. But it's a daunting task. But if done well, then what you do is you harness the whole, all that power, all that energy, and you make it work for good. And so this is the first of them. It was only normal that I talked to the president first. Then we'll have a whole bunch, like they said, a day in the life of. So they talk about their careers, what they've done, and give advice to people who want to do that profession or who may not even know they want to do it. So they listened and found out that, well, that's something that I'm going to like to do. He's talking about working in a booth. How does that work? And so if somebody did want to contact you, because that's where we should end, not say all of this stuff and then where the person left and then what are we to do with it? Then they come running after poor MUSINGS for no reason. They should find the person himself. How do they find you? How do they contact you?
Well, I have a firm in Yaoundé, Compétence. It's found in Edition Clé. But my WhatsApp number is 6777 10077. You can catch me.
Very easy. Just say it one more time for somebody who maybe only heard you say that now, so run to go grab a pen real quick.
Of course, the 237.
Yes.
For anybody somewhere else, because I know that music and musings, and EGBE, let me thank you for this. I am very, very impressed by what you're doing. And I'm very proud of you, EGBE. EGBE, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, bro.
You're among those ladies who make me respect women, because I know that women have been tough from forever, since primary school. When women start beating you in primary school, why wouldn't I accept a boss who is a woman?
I bet you specify that beating. Say it's not the technique. Not because but you know, primary school used to have fight for long break.
No, I mean, she did better in class.
I know.
Yes,
I know. I'm just kidding. I say if you say beating, then they say, "Che."
That made me beat that boy.
This
no, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm happy about this. Thank you very much. But my number is 6777 10077.
Okay.
Very easy. Cool. Send me a WhatsApp anytime, I'm fine. Send me an email, I'm fine. I will talk to you. I'll bend over backwards to answer any question, to help any kid, to talk to any parent or teacher, so that, like Ralph Waldo Emerson said, let us leave the world a bit better than we met it. So anytime I'm available, and EGBE, I'm happy that other colleagues and friends will join us on this program and talk to many other people. You do not just know who you're talking to.
You never know.
I know the reactions to this program.
Right.
You listen to some good Osala or something by Misengo, or some music from One Love, or I don't know, or some Christian music, something of those days. And then you think, you sit alone and you think and you plan and you do some good thing. It is worthwhile. So,
yes.
It was my pleasure, EGBE. Thank you very much. And as I said again, I'm very proud of you, EGBE.
Thank you. I'm just as proud. I'm just as proud to see the menu all have become the little boys. I have the class 3 picture. I don't know whether I'm going to dig it up from somewhere. But we're there with even the Michelle Bayer, the class 3 picture with God rest his soul, the dear Leo EGBE and Benum Sylvain, who passed away not too long ago. There's Dory sitting there, Dora Bile sitting there. Who could have told?
Michael Awasu.
Yes, Pinky. Yes. Sitting there in that picture, there was Iyabo. We will never stop this show. This Ololade and Iyabo. That way, that picture. Oh my goodness! Mr. Njonji was the headmaster at the time. Look
before your mother.
Yep.
Before your mother.
Yep.
I mean, but we need to. Okay, last thing. We need to think about getting people from that school.
True.
Somewhere.
True.
The school by the lake.
Yes.
That first primary school in Yaoundé.
Yes. We have to do a whole conference
for that school because it's the state in which the school is. It's not good at all.
Oh no!
For having produced you and I,
right,
and many others across the world.
Right.
And it's what I want to urge all our colleagues from CAST BAMBILI. Let us do something to help CAST BAMBILI.
For CAST too. Giving back is important. No, we will get that together, and at least to just spotlight what that CAST group is doing that you're in charge of. We had a number of our friends, classmates who have had some storms and had some issues. Of course, we are not going to mention names, but then we're able to put something together and reach out to them and try to see what we can do medically and especially mentally, to make them feel, to bring them back into a sense of normalcy, where sometimes some of these mental issues is just because of frustration, just because of of depression even. And then when they know that you are there for them, it makes a difference. So I do congratulate you. That group was only founded this year. When I say founded this year, and we're looking to do a little celebration in October. We're calling it the October Rush thing, and I cannot wait to see how that turns out. And so thank you for agreeing to come and sit down. It's really late for you already where you are there in Arusha. So thank you for taking the time to come and sit there and just chat. Just chat. That's why I don't call these things interviews. It's unscripted. We just talk and remember things and bring it out there. I hope people who watch and who listen get to just see the back and forth and just enjoy the storytelling. That's what we're really doing. And then we are doing it with the hope and with the prayer that somebody has listened, somebody has watched and has been inspired, and that something they picked up from this hour would help them down the future or help somebody because they are inspired and will inspire somebody else down the road, or something, a light bulb went on at some point when we're listening to what we're saying. So people, this is it. We have to call it a day. Every good thing has an end. So thank you for watching and for listening. And we'll see you again. Make sure that you're there. And I always end by saying two things. That you should go on out there and be the most authentic you that you can be. Everybody was sent here on a mission. Nobody came to this planet by mistake. So there's nothing as sad and pathetic as watching somebody be who they are not. The rest of us who are watching you can see that you are just a fish out of water. Whereas if you find your place, the purpose for which you were put on this earth, and you just shine, no matter where the place is that it happens to be, you're going to be a blessing, not just to yourself, but to the people around you. So be the most authentic you that you can be. And the second thing, keep hope alive. If you don't have any hope, what is the purpose? If you wake up in the morning and your eyes open, just stay in bed. Just stay there under your blanket and just sit. But it is hope that makes you say, I will go on out there today and face another day. And things may get better. Because if I don't try, how would I even know that things will not get better? So be your most authentic self, keep hope alive, and I'll just see you in a Saturday, a week from today. Love you all. Aatsa. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Appreciate you, my brother. All righty. Okay, give it a minute. And here we go.